Margaret and Windsor, and I'm showing you Jim Osborne. He was the district attorney of Moulton, Alabama, Lawrence County. When I wrote this letter, I wrote a couple over the years. It was in 2001, and we all know what happened then. But nobody's paying attention to me or what's happened to the British in happening. I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. The birth certificate, I'm not showing the one with the state seal, but it even has different birth dates than the one that they gave me. I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton. I assume that I was, since I crossed the pond, that I was brought in at Cortland Air Base, which had just been built during the war. And by the way, Joe Kennedy was ambassador to Great Britain from 36 till, well, after I was kidnapped in 41. He was ousted in 46. But his sons, JFK and Joe Jr., flew in there and stayed at the embassy and even went before the House of Commons. In other words, they kind of took over, didn't they? And JFK wrote a book while England slept. Well, they illegally took down my father, Edward VIII, and I found out this in 83. I didn't know it until then. I'd run in a political campaign and was flown out to Larry Flint's because, in October of 83 because I'd written a medical malpractice book about mind control way back then, and how they could put chips in heart bypass. And I worked for a doctor that did that. And you can control you modify their behavior. And you can program them to go out and kill or whatever. And I wanted to address here, the state of Alabama actually went in and just marked through the birth dates they'd given the twins and put January the 7th up over it. 39, it was even a different year. And you're not supposed to do that. And change it in any way. Here's what I wanted to get to real quick. So my father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, American, Irish, and my aunt's George O'Keefe. I found this out in 83. Let me say this. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was doing the book in 78, and the person was programmed to shoot him. I was flown out and killed his attorney. I'm leaving out a lot about getting a letter from the FBI and about ongoing investigation, national security involved. And I put all this over and over, trying to give background and everything, and telling about my kidnapping. But anyway, Flint, that's one of the reasons that Mr. Flint flew me out to his place during the campaign to replace the doctor, Larry McDonald, congressman that I'd written about. And by the way, I wanted to mention again, and no, I'm not making this up, and yes, it can be proven. Sonny Bono is one of the ones that, he was an avid skier, and so was one of the Kennedys. And it's the dates and the times that they smacked into a tree and died. So there's members of Congress, all over the world, that mind control's been used on. But I wanted to focus on not just my kidnapping, that whole family of Dempseys. I finally had one of them, Annie, up in Carlisle, Kentucky, back in '05 after I'd had the Larry Flint car, and I had to turn it in, and I never had any contact with him again. But you'd think that they would have tried to help me. Instead, they've tried to continue to kill me. Oh, it didn't happen. Well, yeah, it did, and now then they're having to acknowledge it, but the media never touches it. And by the way, they're acknowledging it. No, they do and they don't. And it's, that's a crime. Kidnapping's a crime. The woman killed her twins, Lina Dempsey did, Peggy and Carl. They gave me the name of Peggy. So you can imagine growing up in those conditions. It was a pigsty. That's all I can say. If I'm jumping around, I wanted to get to this. This has happened in '86. My jobs were gotten to everywhere I've been. The only thing that I have an illness, and it is I'm allergic to chemicals. And that has to do with the immune system. When I'm put in close quarters and fed toxic fumes, my immune system attacks itself, and I get really sick. And over the years, if I were allowed to live in even halfway good conditions, I would be okay. But I've been force-fed them deliberately. You try telling people this, they all know it around here. They know it in so many places. I put it on YouTube, the media. Nobody's going to touch it because the people that kidnapped me are the New World Order, the Illuminati, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, member of the Windsors, Elizabeth's father, who was illegal, George VI, helped kidnap me. And the Kennedys, why do you think they covered up the Kennedy assassination? There was mind control used there, but also Kennedy, and you get Martin Luther King got in. He partnered with Kennedy, and because they were going after everything British, they were going after South Africa, Rhodesia, they were going after Africa and all the British colonies. But here's where I have to explain, I haven't committed a crime. In fact, my money and everything involved in it has come in to this country, the space program, you name it, to keep me alive in the hell I'm in. And look at Great Britain. Your friends, you sponsored the IRA. You have slaughtered and taken down everything British. You kidnapped me, the monarch, Victoria II, and you're holding Britain hostage because my uncle, the illegal George VI, he signed treaties, they're all illegal, to put American military all over British soil. I'm trying to hurry to get through with this. I want to say my illness, have a immune disorder. Carl Barton is a retired Virginia State Trooper, and I've put this on, and what instigated his wife bringing me to Affordable Suites. Now, I've stayed at these over the years, and he's become quite wealthy. He's Jewish. So this is where she just says that I stayed there 17 months, I believe. His wife brought me down there to Affordable. Her name was Linda Barton. And she told me when she left me, they paid the security deposit. I paid everything after then. She said, this is how we move you with chemicals. Well, my word's no good. I've been made, trashed, and done everything in the book. So this is just, I have to use somebody here, Jean Croft, who's manager, who told me that she had worked there and she had retirement. She had the apartment furnished. No way was she going to give it up to help me. Well, it wasn't helping me if you obey the law, and they weren't. This is true, and it's been done every place just about. The housekeeping, you think that's cute to have a housekeeping? When they come in and they bring you linen that has been deliberately soaked in chemicals and sprayed, they come in, if you try to go for groceries or a walk, they come in and soak. To heck with trespassing. You've got laws in here, assault and battery, and the whole thing has been put together. When I had antifreeze put in me April Fool's Day of 80 and thought it was because of the book, Lina Dempsey, the mother of the twins that killed them, that destroyed my life, after the antifreeze, she stuffed me in her car and illegally brought me across the state line, and I lived at Warren House Apartment, which are getting into crypt. Warren as a Warren Commission that covered up the Kennedy assassination, and the Kennedys helped kidnap me and bring me to Bolton, Alabama. So Carl Smith, well, that's his name, I don't know, lived beneath me, and he was FBI agent. He was sent over there 5 years before I had the antifreeze put in me, which means that was about 1976 or 75. And he said that my whereabouts, my tracks were laid out for me at least 5 years back then ahead. So they knew the antifreeze was going to be put in me and everything, and I was going to end up there. I had law enforcement coming across the state line in '86 when I was begging for food, freezing, hitchhiking, anything just to get somewhere. Finally, I got here and had a tent living on the Appalachian Trail and starved and froze.